All right. Hello, everybody. Had a little bit of an issue with my microphone, and yeah, welcome to another stream. So let's, as usual, kind of start with. Oops, and that's a little bit of that issue with the microphone. So yeah, let's start with some of the updates and kind of some of the work that I've been doing over the past couple of weeks. It's been a lot of it around like the NPCs and trying to kind of unify them into just one class. I previously had these guys over here. Let me change kind of the time of day here. So yeah, I previously had some of these. These were like their own like separate class, and I wanted um, to kind of have them more under what started off as the crowd character from one of the Epic packages. Though unfortunately and let me like drag my YouTube's window here. So yeah, and these work. I've kind of made it a little bit hard on myself to some extent to customize these in a way. And Also, I had some issues with the grooms and them not being applied properly to like the head or like a mustache and so on. And um, Also kind of having to deal with like the outfits it wasn't necessarily difficult like these ones. I could have set them up with like a top skeleton, like the body, the head. But I kind of like the way the crowd characters were set up in that project from Epic, where, for example, let's take this guy. um, they had a bunch of settings like through a data table where you can set up like the character options, like underweight, overweight, different heads, different skin texture, or skin. I think the skin texture was also just modifying the skin color. A few hairs, outfits. Yeah, so that was the big one for me. Um, the ability to change the material on the outfit, um, and then some things that I've added for the hair, because that was one of the issues that I ran into. It took me a little while to figure out and fix, kind of applying the hair when you also have like custom animations going on and dialogues and so on. So what I ended up with is, and let's just take this guy as an example. Um, so let's just change some of its settings, right? So I can set them to be like overweight, and for each one of since they're different skeletons, for um, each one of the body shapes, overweight, I think I only have overweight and underweight that I've set up because I think, normal weight is just somewhat like underweight. And so I for overweight, I didn't have any of my imported outfits. So what I ended up doing is I ended up using what Epic had in place, but I've kind of added a little bit of a grunge type of look to. You can see like there's some like dirt on the clothing, and um, these are not the guys that just stepped out of a bank, right? So for example, like with overweight. Like I said, there's like a number of head indexes. So let's start with this one, a different skin color, and you can like change them. Of course, you also want to keep that in line with the head index. So then, for the hair, what I ended up doing is I was able to fix it to a pretty good extent. Like for example, when it comes to the hair, there's like a few, well, probably that doesn't fit this guy, but for example, this one or this one, or bald, that works pretty well. And there's other ones, and also actually this one, um, that there's probably others that I could add as well. But and then besides this, so besides the ability to change the head, the skin texture, the hair, you can add like a mustache. So there's like a few options of mustaches with the crowd, and I do have a couple of more for my basic metahuman characters. Let me like rotate this guy. It's really like just shining down on this guy really strong, so you can't really tell how he looks. And so yeah, there's like the mustache, the hair. Let's take a look. There's quite a few other settings that I've set up. Um, so one thing that I've set up is he like a crowd character or not? So if he's like a crowd character, you can't interact with him. So he's basically just going to be one of those that either sits on the side of a, next to a building, or sits down, or does some activities, walking back and forward. Um, so the other thing that I've added is the ability for him to wear a hat, and I do have like maybe 3 hats or something like that that are a little bit different. Um, so, kind of like this. I think I might need to increase the scale of that. But of course, when you have a hat, uh, you might want to remove the hair so it doesn't like poke through the hat. So yeah, for example, this guy, so we'll leave him as is for now because I wanted to show you the interaction and then also how it works when he's just a crowd character. There's also the option if, so this is a male, right? So let's take a look at some of the other options for him. So we have the outfits. So like I said, this guy being like the, overweight, I was only able to use most of the outfits that came with these crowd characters, and like I said, just adding a little bit of grunge, like some worn pants and stuff like that. So let's take a look. He's got like more outfits than the other underweight. So let's see. There's that. There's that. There's this one, this one, this one. There's just different pants. This one, and I think these I might just be repeating a little bit. Yeah. Um, and then there's the other option that I've added today. And let's actually change the hair to something that's a little bit more, let's do, I think it might be one. So like kind of long hair. So I've also added the ability to change these so that there is you can change the hair color, right? So like he's a little bit more of a redhead, kind of a little bit more blonde. Let's see, maybe we can do a little bit more melanin in the hair, or actually it needs less, like this. So, it turns a little bit more blonde and, kind of adjusting the redness to it. So I can also change for each one of these guys, and you can see it changes the mustache as well along with the hair. And so I can have uh, quite a bit of a variety when it comes to these NPCs, as well as the kind of the crowd type of characters, not just the ones that you're going to be able to interact with. The only issue that I ran into and I wasn't able to sort out is the when you do interact with one of these characters, um, the facial hair, especially when it comes to like mustache and beard, it doesn't keep um, with the skeletal structure. So I'm still looking into that. I know there's I'm wondering if there is an option. If there isn't one, no biggie. It's just going to be that the NPCs that you can interact with, they're not going to have like a mustache or a beard. But even with that, well, I mean, even without having that, let's actually change this guy so he doesn't have any mustache. You can see there's still some like a little bit of a stubble on the face. So there is still some facial hair there. The other thing that I wanted to use this uh, crowd character is that these are actually just a mask in the material, so there is no additional groom for this. So performance-wise, should be a lot better than having to add a groom, um, like a like this one was, for example. Let's do, like this one would be, right? So this would be an additional groom. And even though it's one of the lighter, it's not like, I think it's hair strands, it's just mesh card. So it's much more efficient than that. It's still an extra thing that it would have to render. Yeah, so let's take a look. So like I said, the overweight body shape has the outfits that are from the that crowd character package. But now if I go to underweight, so these are all the outfits that I either got from um, free packages on the marketplace or from Sketchfab. So you'll see like they look decent. So let's take a look through some of them. Let's do, where was the outfit index? All right, so start at 0. This is 1. Um, then this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. Yeah, so there is a number of these as well. These two are pretty similar. I think I just changed the pants. Yeah. Let's see, 10. I'm not sure. I think that's about it. Yeah, I think that's about it. So 10 different ones for this body shape. And then there's also like the female option. Unfortunately, it has less outfits. So I think a lot of the NPCs that are going to be uh, kind of crowd type of NPCs, not interactable. They're probably going to be like male. But so yeah, for this one, let's see. I think I still have a decent number of outfits. And what the other thing that you can do is I have a checkbox here to have this be kind of a female uh, I would say pose, so the shoulders are a little bit lower than like on the male NPCs. So yeah, let's see. There's this one. There's this one. This one. This one actually kind of works. Um, and I think, unfortunately, that is the number that is pretty much all of them. Um, so yeah, like I said, I don't have as many female outfits as male. And so there's going to be like a few of the ones that you can interact with. They're going to be female, and probably what I'm going to try and do is, for example, like a character that is in like this position, or maybe kind of sleeping, or you know, uh, maybe not facing towards the character. um, I can have them have like a kind of a long hair, and you wouldn't be able to see them anyways. Yeah, so that should work for that as well. And that's one of the reasons that I like the setup that Unreal had with this crowd characters, where you can make these changes through that um, you know these changes being held in this. Let me see if I can show you in this. Where's that tab? There we go. And kind of this data table, right? So where you have all the type of skeleton, male, female, then overweight, underweight, normal weight, with all the body type skeletons along with the heads, and then the outfits, um, and then the hair definitions, for like the grooms. So yeah, I definitely like that better. Okay, so I was talking a little bit earlier about interacting with the NPC. So the main thing is that when you interact with the NPC, um, you don't have any more control. You just have to like click through the options, right, of the dialogues. And so when that happens, um, that's when the facial animation happens as well, and that's the issue I was talking about with if you have like a beard or something, it doesn't follow the lift movement uh, too well or at all. So I'm gonna try and take a look at that and see if I can figure anything out. If not, then it's just, whoever you interact with is not gonna have like a full on, like, gray beard or something um, that would affect that. Yeah, so let's jump into game mode, and I'll show you what I mean with the interactions as well as the kind of the dialogue that's generated. And what I'll do is I might have shown this in the past, but just trying to use 11 Labs to generate some of these AI voices and use them with the um, with this NPC, when you interact with them, and also generate the facial animation. All right, so let's jump in. All right, so um, all the all the NPCs, they're just gonna hang around like this, or probably gonna walk between different points. Let's, for example, the ones that are not crowd. So this is, remember, I had that checkbox where, he wasn't a crowd character. Um, you would have the option to interact with them. So in this case, there's like talk to Julian, that's his name. So they also have this interaction sphere around them. So whenever you're in that, they'll focus on you like this, So if you're like jump up and down, they would just like kind of look at you. So once you start talking to this guy, he's gonna start going into his dialogue.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are here. We could really use your help.
So that's the facial animation that's generated in Unreal. So previously I was using this MetaHuman SDK package and or plugin, and that one was working fine as well. It's just this one um, is free for starters, and that was a good thing that I liked. The other one I think had a little bit more emotions, I guess, that you can add, like a frowny face or something like that. I think with the option from Unreal, you don't have that happening. So yeah, let's see. He's like saying, kind of just the intro dialogue. This is, of course, subject to heavy changes. But yeah, so that's the first dialogue,
I will need your help
and
first.
then
My
he
wife
goes into
Elise is
the
being held hostage at the motel up the hill. Please save her and bring her back to me. I'll show you how to get into town then.
so yeah, and then there's the second dialogue, and you can choose to continue to help or not. But um, but yeah, the next time you come, you come to
I will
him,
need your help first.
you know,
My
it.
wife Elise is being held hostage at the motel up the hill. Please save her and bring her back to me. I'll show
So
you how to get into town then.
yeah, the next time you go up to him, he's gonna default into the last dialogue that he did. So it's not gonna start from the top. All right, so if I say, okay, I'll help you out. Let's see if I like come back and say, hey, were you able to find her? It's like not yet, still got a few more things to do. So it doesn't start the dialogue from the beginning. Um, and I'm I still need to check and see. I believe I did add this to my save methods. So if you save the game, you exit to main menu and you save it. I believe I did add it to the save, like the dialogue situation, like how far you got in the dialogue with a certain NPC. I would have to double check that. But so this is the dialogue with one of these guys that is not a crowd type of character. So let's change this, tick this back in, and let me actually make him. Yeah, so see, this is the difference from like a male and a female. It's like I just added a little bit of transformation in the shoulders, so they're a little bit down. So yeah, let's see if I try to walk up to him now. Let's see if I can. So see, there's like no interaction. He would still acknowledge you and like kind of look at you once you're in his interaction space, but he would just like not you wouldn't be able to interact with him. So he would like, have the little kind of, let me go full screen. So he would have the little gestures of, paying attention to you, but outside of that, you can't really do anything. So this guy would be one of those characters that would, like I said, kind of just sit in front of a fire or like kind of have a, you know, a chat, so to speak, with other NPCs that are also not interactable, or potentially it could be interactable. Like it would be, him, this is being Julian next to her. And for example, like if we were to do this, let's see, I haven't actually tested, putting them next to each other. So they should both like kind of look at me. And yeah, she's not Julian, but in the game at the moment she is. So she could be interactable, but this guy, he wouldn't. He would still pay attention to me, but yeah, you can see like they just kind of resume their looking forward once I'm not in their space. Um, yeah, so that's kind of the main update that I've been working on is being able to properly interact with these NPCs. I had some, like I said, some hiccups in the past with some of these. Like I said, the initial way that I had this set up was with these guys, and you could set up um, kind of the body skeletons individual, but you wouldn't be able to set kind of the skin tone. Um, that easily. So it would have to be based on whatever head skeletal mesh you use, and that one was a little bit of a pain. So with this one is a lot easier to configure, and I feel like the setup that, even though complicated, that Epic had is very valuable. Um, so also another quick update. This is more from a visual standpoint. I was playing around with. I wasn't very fond of some of the rocks that I had, like kind of laying around in these landing areas, and not so much as the ones that are on the ground, but the ones that are forming the outline of these areas, and also kind of some of the outlines in the world. I wasn't really um, liking them as much. So I had this really interesting package with some rocks that look like this. The main thing that I wanted to with these ones was the more of like these ones were. I mean, they're not bad. Don't get me wrong. I do like them. The one thing was, them not being an open mesh. And that other rock that I had that was like I was using it for like a lot of cliffs and such, which I believe was, let me see if I can bring that in just to show you. It was this one. Um, I felt like it was really just squarish, right? So it didn't have as much definition in it. It had a good shape to it. And but this one, and with its shader, was it felt like it's a lot more versatile, compared to this one. Um, like this one, like it was just a plain cliff face, so to speak, that I didn't really feel anything for. With this one is a little bit better setup, so. And yeah, if anybody watching this video is interested in where I got these, you can drop a comment and I'll direct it to it. It's a package from Decagon, which I do have quite a lot of them. But like I said, it's also a closed mesh, and it also has all these faces that are very, very nicely set up. Plus, the shader of it is very powerful. Like having the ability to set up the moss, and it not being so blocky. You can add the kind of the moss on some of these ledges, and so just to break up the surface a little bit. So I'll make some of those changes. Kind of uh, maybe part two of the stream will be uh, you know t putting these into the level. I've already put a bunch of them, but putting some more of them and seeing how they do. Okay, so I also wanted to kind of generate the last part of the dialogue for this guy. So this being, Julian, let's just kind of bring him over here. So we'll kind of, he's not going to be a crowd character. He's going to be like a person that you can interact with. And I think I'm just going to remove these guys. And plus, I think the other advantage to these, they're quite a bit more optimized than um, than the way I had these NPCs. So it should work with that quite a bit better as well. So yeah, let's take a look at the dialogue, and let me see where that is. So let's open up the dialogue here, and I'll show you kind of a little bit of the setup if anybody's interested. So this is like the dialogue plugin that I'm using here. It should be on the marketplace. And it does have, all these links. So it's kind of like a tree setup where, you kind of go from left to right. So you can see like, this one here was that first one when you first interact with that NPC. And I've created a bunch of events and conditions. So for example, this one is something that just plays that dialogue, basically, the facial montage, if there's any body montage that I want to do. Um, is he handing something? Like, for example, once you rescue his wife, he's going to be able to give you some keys that you can open, like some of the gates for the sewers, so you can enter the town. Um, and then, for example, conditions, like this one is going to check to see, well, have we done this node before or not? So I'm going to skip it. And then it's just going to jump into like, can you help, right? And so it's going to continue the chat from there. Like for example, this one here has a couple of events, so also to not repeat it and to not repeat these nodes. So once, for example, um, once you are once you meet him for the first time, you hit this node. And then if you exit, I don't think I can help you right now, and you come back to him, he's going to say, can you help? And then from there, uh, you're still going to have the same two options. But if you go and say, okay, I'm listening, he's going to move on to this node and say, okay, this is where I'm going to need your help. And then again, if you also say, I can't help you right now, the next time you do interact with this NPC, he's going to get to this node again. And then you can say, okay, no, I'll help you out. And then at that point, once you say, okay, I'll help you out, that's when you actually assign the quest and you exit. So all these at the bottom, they're just going to be plain exits from the dialogue. It's just going to end the dialogue once you do that. But this one, the main one is that this quest is going to get assigned once you say, okay, I'll help you out. So you've probably seen it in previous streams where the uh, you were able to see the quest on your device or on the HUD if you so choose to use the HUD. All right, yeah. So what I wanted to do is just to show you a little bit of the, like I was telling you here, like let's see, let's look at this one where I was adding the talking, the dialogue talking, is I wanted to generate the dialogue so we can create the facial montage. So let's do, I think we don't have one for Can You Help? All right, so let's go to, where is it? 11 Labs. So this is something I was using yesterday, and we're going to use the same voice. This is, I guess, Brian, to generate this new dialogue. So this, I think, was Can You Help? All right, so let's see what we can come up with. And that's kind of like a, let's see, if can we emphasize the fact that it's a question?
Can you help? Ihritchernam.
Hmm? I don't know what that was, what was at the end. Let's try and play it.
Can you help? Ihritchernam.
I'm not sure what what that was. Was it because there's too many of these question marks? So let's see. 11 to high quality. Not sure what this one is. Let's try this one.
Can you help?
Okay, so that wasn't bad. I mean,
Can you help?
let's do speed a little slower, maybe.
Can you help?
Okay, I like that. So let's download it. All right, and let's import this into the engine, and I wanted to make sure that I'm placing it in the same spot. Where is it? I think I got the, so the way I've set this up is I have a folder with the dialogue, and then for each one of my NPCs, I have the, for example, with Julian, I have this, you know, for to save his wife, and kind of the dialogues with each one of the nodes. So I've kind of labeled them as, this is node 10, this one here. If you were to click on one of these, you can see like, so node 11.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are here. We could really use your help.
Yeah, so hopefully you were able to hear that. But so see, this is, I've labeled it node 11, and this one here is also node 11. Then node 10 is, I think, this one. So there's node 10, node 10. So that's how I kind of label these dialogues as well as the animations, just uh, to kind of I don't want to add like the entire dialogue in the title. I wasn't sure how else I could like label these. But yeah, let's import that one that we just generated. So it's this one here.
Can you help?
All right, so it's question-ish. So let's label this as, let me see, what node is this? It's node 14. So this would be node 14. And from this, you can right click and meta human performance, process and export the anim sequence. I don't really get why it always asks you to add a prefix or a suffix. So I'm just gonna call this, because it does need something in here. So we can just export it. And it does generate blinks, mix audio channels. I wish there was, like I said, with that MetaHuman SDK, there is a little bit more in the terms of like emotions, so to speak. So I think there was like more, like I said, there were a few more options. So let's go ahead and create this. So node 14, I guess A is for like audio, mm, I, but it's also animation. So um, yeah, let's call it underscore. Oh, I guess it doesn't add that, so I can add this as an anim. So that could work. So node 14, and let's create a animation montage for this one. So it's called animation montage. And back in here with our node, I'm just going to add an event. So this one is going to be the, what did I call it? Dialogue talking. And let's add the facial montage for that. And we also have the sound for this one. Let's add that as well. And there we go. So now it's got a sound, it's got a facial montage. Let's test that out. See how this works. All right. So at the moment, what it's going to do, it's going to start from scratch because I didn't save it. So
Thank you so much
uh,
for saving me. Everyone will be so
yeah. So
happy when
okay,
they
no,
find out
okay,
that
I'm
you were able to
listening.
get her
Or
back to the
actually,
hill.
let's see. So I'm going to do. I don't think I can help you right now. So I think this should generate the can you help?
Can you help?
Yeah. So there we go. I don't think I can help right now. So let's try and generate. Look at that. Kind of get that to happen again.
Can you help?
And this is also something that I'm trying to find a better solution as to the camera. So once you interact with one of these NPCs, I wanted to get a better placement for the camera. Right now, depending on how he's leaning or his position, I think he like for example, right now he's like in this leaning state, leaning idle, where he's like leaning up against the wall or a bit up against something. So I wanted to change that to probably once you interact with him to just be default, like stand straight and just talk. Maybe have some like arm animations, like when he's trying to explain something, like what I'm doing now. I'm kind of waving my arms around. So similar that would to that he would do the same thing. Um, Okay, so now what I'm going to try and do is also generate some audio for the character, right? So when you click OK, I'm listening, I'm going to try and generate that as well. So let's try that. And so let's go back to the dialogue, and we're going to do OK, I'm listening. So I got the sound here for me, the character. So let's generate it. Um, So this one is going to be, I think it was Bill that I was using for the player. And this one is, what is it? What do we call this? Okay, I'm listening. Okay, listening. Let's see how this works.
Okay, I'm listening.
That's a little bit um, too mechanical.
Okay, I'm listening.
Right, so that sounds good. It's more in line with if you remember like when you were searching through like trash, it would saying tra scraps, good, something like that. So let's generate or download this one. Let's see if we can do like what happens if we reduce the stability.
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so that's a little bit more
Okay, I'm listening.
oh closer.
Okay, I'm listening.
All right, let's try this one. Okay, so now that I've importing this one. In the same folder, I'm going to put this one as well because it's part of your dialogue with Julian. And all right, so there we go. It's this one here. And this one is going to be in your node 8. So let's do the same kind of naming. And since for this one, I don't need to generate um, any facial animations or nothing, it's just applying this one to here. All right, so since we're here, let's also generate, I don't think I can help you right now. All right, so let's go back into text to speech here and let's try and generate it.
I don't think I can help you right now.
That's a little bit kind of like, leave me alone. Let's do it like slower maybe.
I don't think I can help you right now.
I kind of like that better.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Okay, I think more stable might be a little bit better.
I don't think I can help you right now.
That's condescending. Sounds a little condescending.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Was it like a 50%?
I don't think I can help you right now.
Similarity, let's do this one. Oh, style exaggeration maybe.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Hmm, I don't know.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Okay, let's use this one for now. And let's import it here. This is node 9. All right, so same node 9. I might want, maybe I could add something to this to tell me that, hey, yeah, this one is the player character, this one's the NPC, just to differentiate maybe. All right, let's add this in for the sound. Not entirely, I need to check the documentation and see the differencing between like the sound and the dialogue wave. If there's any, you might be better off using the dialogue wave instead of the sound. Oh, and actually, apparently you can't really add that in here. I'm wondering if it has to be a queue. But okay, let's test this out. See how we get the sounds going.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are here. We could really use your help. Can you help?
Whoops. That wasn't what I wanted. I don't think I can help you right now. It should be playing the sound. Oh, I forgot. Let's do this one. Um, I should have played the sound instead of um, or I think it quits before playing the sound. So let's do like a small delay here.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are. Can you help?
Okay, so that's interesting. It doesn't exit properly. I think I might need to revisit this event exit when there's like a delay. Um, so let's try that one more time.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are here. We could really use your help.
And the other issue that I'm thinking just now is if I do play audio for the character, um, that might introduce some slight issues because now if I hit OK, I'm listening, it's going to move on to the next node for the NPC, and all these audios might overlap. Let's see.
Can you help? I will need your help first. My wife, Elise, is being held hostage at the motel up the hill. Please save.
Why did I not? What's going on with these? So,
Can you help?
oh, I'm not playing the right the right audios. So this is node. Did I label them wrong? Let's see. So, can you help is actually 14.
Can you help?
Okay, so this one.
Can you help?
Oh, I made a little bit of a kerfuffle here with the audios. So this is 8. This one's 14. Let's see, which one is it? Okay, I'm listening.
Can you help? Can you help?
Oh, I've imported the same thing multiple times? Oh man, that's silly. Let me just clear these out. Yeah, I guess you do. Um, Even with trying to label them as properly as I could, um, I still created some duplicates for these nodes. I think I might have imported the same dialogue or the same audio multiple times. So let's try doing this again.
Can you help? Can you help?
All right, so that's can you help?
Okay, I'm listening.
Okay, so this is okay, I'm listening. The problem to some extent is, as you can see, this is how it gets exported from 11 Labs. So if you have multiple of these, it might get a little bit tricky. So this one, let's see, play this one more time.
Okay, I'm listening.
So this is for the okay, I'm listening, which is this node here, which is node 8. All right, so let's try and label it properly this time. And I need to revisit a couple of the games that I played in the past. I believe one of them would be like Dying Light, where I think there was no audio, or I can't remember if there wasn't any audio coming from your reply as the player. Hmm. Okay, so now this is selected. I hope I got the right one. Let's try and interact with this guy.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are here.
Okay, I'm listening.
I will need your help first. My wife, Elise, is being held hostage at the motel up the hill. Please save her and bring her back to me. I'll show you how to get into town then.
Yeah, so there we go. That actually worked really well. I wasn't sure if the system itself will take the sound and jump onto the next node once that is done, because I didn't have anything in here as but it looks like it was smart enough to set it up that way. So that's great. Like I said, this is a really nice uh, plugin. So now let's do, I think, did I do this one? Let's take a look. Bill.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Okay, so this is, I don't think I can help you right now. Let's import this real quick. All right, so there we go. This is for this node here, which is 9. So let's also label it the same way. So this is going to be node 9, and let's apply it here like this. All right. Now, let's see how this one works, because like I said, this one is going to be like an exit point in the dialogue. So let's see.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are here. We could really use your help.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Ah, so there we go. That was actually really good. So let's try and do that
Can
again,
you help?
because you were able to see like there was like a next button.
I don't think I can help you right now.
Ah, so there we go. You can exit the dialogue earlier, which I think is great. And both of them are playing. So both of the audios. Hopefully they you can hear them through OBS. I do think I have the setup for it for the desktop audio. Hopefully it's loud enough. So let me try one more time.
Can you help?
Okay, I'm listening.
I will need your help first. My wife, Elise, is being held hostage at the motel up the hill. Please save her and bring her back to me.
All right, so then um, the ones that we don't have so far is can't help right now. Okay, I'll help you out. And not yet, I got a couple of things to do, or a few things to do. So those would also be the same audios to be generated. And you've seen how the behavior happens when you play audio, it waits for that to end, and then it moves on to the next node or exits, which I think works as I wanted it to. Yeah, so that's kind of the main update, guys. Kind of interacting with the NPCs. So now it's just a matter of doing all the work to generate the voices and the facial animations. The one thing, like what I was mentioning was um, the the rest of the face in a way, right? So we have the mouth moving with the words, which is nice, but I also wanted kind of the face to show a little bit of emotion, so there are a couple of if you see like in game, let me see, if I was to look at um, the metahuman, actually not this one, but this one's the body. So he should be going into a chatting pose, but I don't think I've made that change. So I need to switch him over to being in a chatting pose once once you interact with him. So there's like going to be some arm movements and, kind of things like of that nature. But there is also and where did I put that? For the facial animation, so that would be, where is my, 1 second. Okay, so there we go. So this is for the face, right? So on the face, it's gonna have to, like right now when it's in idle pose, it blends with this, crowd concerned kind of. So he's doing like a little bit of blinking, maybe a little bit of frowning, but I need to change this a little bit when he is when the NPC is actually talking, right? So this is the part here where, and if anybody's interested, where the NPC is looking at you, and for my main character location, what I'm doing is, if my character is valid, basically if you're in that area of in that interaction sphere, what's going to happen is, um, I'm going to get the player's head, and then I'm going to set that as the focus as to where the NPC's head should point to, and eyes along with that. So, and if it's not valid, then I'm just setting it to not focus on main character, and that's it. Um, and I'm guessing this one could be like a do once, so um, I don't run this all the time, though it's just a simple set, so it shouldn't be too impactful. But um, but yeah, so that's kind of what I have in my face character. So this is, when you're looking at at the main character, based on, whether to focus on the main character or not. Yeah, so, and like I said, with the hair, that's something that I was setting up earlier, and I was showing you guys, you can change the color of the hair, so just to give a little bit more variety in some of these like crowd NPCs, so to speak, that are not, you can interact with them. Um, you know, those crowd NPCs are also going to be the ones that can oh, and actually, I wanted to show you the behavior when you interact with one of these, and you do have like some kind of like a beard index. So let's add a beard and also maybe like a mustache. So now let's jump into game. And unfortunately, I know there's like a while the you can see like the mustache and the beard, they keep with the face, right? Um, So, they follow the face along. When you interact and there's like a facial animation, this happens.
Thank you so much for saving me. Everyone will be so happy you are
So
here.
it looks like
We
it's
could
like a
really use
mask.
your help.
Uh, so this would be fine for, like I said, crowd characters that you can't interact with. They would look at you. They have these facial features that are different from, this guy. So,
I don't think
uh,
I can help you right now.
so that's why the the interactable NPCs are only gonna have they're not gonna have any kind of um, you know facial grooms, like beard or a mustache. And I can definitely live with that. But I'm gonna take a quick look and see if there is. I believe there was a setting where you can set it up. So if I'm not mistaken. Let me go to this crowd character real quick. I know like in the grooms, if I'm not mistaken, there was something, or was there um I was kind of thinking there was an option for like animation, follow animation or something like that. I could not remember where that was, if it was like in the actual um like the in the actual asset, or Um, I can't remember where it was. Animation. Let's bear with me for 1 second. I was just trying to see where that might be. Simulation auto. I would think it would enable it. Oh, groom simulation, I think is just kind of it's like a long hair and you kind of move around. That might be what it is. But if that's physics, binding, I'm wondering if it's something that's tied to binding. I don't know why I kind of feel like I've seen this option somewhere. But yeah, I mean it would be kind of interesting to have, like have the some like a person with a beard be also have like a dialogue, but I can't remember where that was. So I'm gonna try and see if I can figure anything out and get back to you guys. Um, yeah, let's see. What else? Yeah, so from a functional standpoint, one other thing that I've worked on is and related to interactions. And you'll see like I've tried to make these a little bit less, or I mean, hopefully it's still noticeable, but like um, this is kind of how you can tell like something is interactable from a little bit of a distance. There's like a little bit of a circle applied to it. So let's take a look at this pistol here. So if you were to close in, there's like a little bit of a faint little circle on it. Because before, I had those really big icons, and I felt like, those are a little bit too much. Um, like, here, see? So there's like this little thing that shows up on the locker. Let's see. I don't think I've done one for the vehicles, but let's take a look at these trash cans, right? So there's these little icons showing up once you go and you interact with one of these. Um, there's like these ones on the floor. Oh yeah, and the other thing you might have noticed already is I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit because this is gonna be probably a little loud. So I've made it so that the detection, uh, the detection thing, it it has different colors for like the items that are deadly, like those military trucks, and the ones that are not, like the regular NPC enemies. So this guy, let me kind of try and like get away from his field of view. So that guy, he is red, is gonna turn things red and, kind of, red, stay away. So like if I was to kind of move towards him, and it also, I've made it so that it kind of fills up a little bit, takes a little bit more time to fill up, but, he's gonna, you know, you're gonna die pretty quick, like I said, and there you go. It's kind of funny that the uh, your character is like made of metal because that's what the sound is when it has a physical surface of metal when it hits the surface when it hits you, right? Yeah, so that's another a little bit of a kind of gameplay update that I wanted to do. Oh, and kind of the fixes. I'm not sure if I shown this or if I in the last stream I had this fixed already. We were looking last time at having the bow and the rifle. So, like I had the bow. Let's pick up the bow before this guy sees me. The rifle, maybe a couple of arrows. Yeah, so see with these icons, they're like a little bit smaller, so they're not that intrusive on the screen, like with the ones that were like, okay, this is a weapon, this is like a consumable type of thing. So it's a little bit more, okay, I need to investigate that. You don't really know necessarily, well, I mean, this is a trash can, but um, like, it's something to investigate. So yeah, the fix was, if you recall from last time, when you had like the bow equipped, and you had an arrow already ready to fire. Let me actually kick this guy out. So you had an arrow ready to fire, like I have now. When I was switching to the other weapon, like the rifle, that arrow was still there. So let's do this again. All right, so now it's not there anymore. And that should be how it's supposed to be. Also, another fix that I did was on the recoil. So it felt like it was a little bit too exaggerated when I was firing. So right now, it kind of goes like this. It's still, oh, actually, yeah, it feels like it's still pretty jarring. So I might need to tone that down a little bit. But oh yeah, I think it just started like that. Maybe it was just the animation or something. All right, so let me pick up a rifle magazine, reload. So yeah, this one feels a little bit more, not as dramatic as the other one. And when you're in like in ADS, it's just going to be a little bit. I think I could decrease this a little bit, but it doesn't do that recoil where the weapon, starts going up. I find that pretty frustrating, and in most of the games that I've played, I haven't seen that. Maybe it's something for like a hardcore type of online multiplayer survival game where, I mean, in reality, you get a recoil and the weapon goes up. But I think I don't think that's gonna be beneficial for me at least. So yeah, right now it just kind of goes like this. So there we go. Yeah, so that was the other update slash fix on how the weapons are behaving. All right, let's go into the main world, main level, and we'll take a look at. I was talking about these new rocks that I've been trying to use, and adding some of them in and seeing how those look. All right. Oh, and I've also played a little bit around the chemical, the factory area. So I was just trying to, arrange some things here and there. We'll see what might have been different from the last time. Yeah, so what I'm hoping for next week is to actually have that first start of the game in place. We were kind of I was fumbling it in some of the previous streams where it was somewhat working, but there were still some issues. So this would be where you do fly the plane all on that on its flight path. You jump out of the plane, you get up, you rescue the first NPC. He gives you the mission, as we've just seen in the discussion. Can you please save my wife? And you go and do that. You take out a few enemies along the way. Then you get back, and he hands you over the sewer keys. So that's your first thing that you can like start entering the town. Oh yeah, and speaking of sewers, I also made another entrance to it on, excuse me, on the other side of town. So we'll take a look at that. Sorry, I had to get some water. All right, so this one's currently loading. Yeah, so the advantage I was talking about, the facial emotions of the NPCs. So they are a couple of, I think the one that I'm using is concerned maybe. So I need to kind of get that set up to hopefully work a little bit better with the mouth animation. Okay, yeah. So this is what I was talking about. Like previously with let me see if hopefully I didn't delete all of them. But see, like these have some of the moss on top of them, so it kind of breaks up that surface. But before, see if I can hide these. Bear with me here for a little bit. Why did this freeze? Yeah, so see, like those are just they're kind of a little plain, you know. I mean, they're not bad, don't get me wrong. It's just that it's kind of before and after. So I think these have a little bit more of a little bit more going for them, I would say, when it comes to these rocks. Like I said, having this moss, break up the surface, I think helps a lot. And for example, on this road here, the ones in the distance, I'm probably still gonna keep them like this because they're like really big cliffs, and I like that flat surface. But the ones that are like a little bit more up close, I'm gonna change them to this, so I can put some trees on this edge, and make them look like they kind of belong. Okay, there's like growth over there and stuff. Like I said, with these ones, they're like really just very square-ish, and they probably work better for these like really distant cliffs. But I think for this kind of close-ups, I think I kind of like these a little bit better, so I'm gonna go with them for now. So yeah, let's add some of these along this road, and see how that's gonna look. So like I said, I have like 6 of these. The package has quite a big number, but I only went with 6 just so that I can kind of keep the number of textures down. And these are also, I'm also using, the other thing is, I'm also using the same texture here that I'm using over, let's see, where's the dam area? Oops, I went a little too far. But that I'm using over here. So I'm going to try and make use of that material for these ones as well. If not, I'm just going to see if I can use those over here. Because see, like this is what I meant. It's it doesn't have a lot of definition in them. But if I was to add, for example, one of these guys over here, so let's kind of make this bigger. Yeah, see, it's got a little bit more of a, I wouldn't say personality, but a little bit more variety in the surface than the other one has, you know. So this is kind of the one of the main reasons that I wanted to use these meshes. I can kind of make it a little bit bigger, I think. Yeah, so see, this is what I meant, having some of these surfaces a little bit broken up in the geometry, as well as having this not be, completely flat, especially for some of these meshes that are a little bit more up close. Like I said, some of these back here, I don't really mind. I'm gonna try these, but the ones that are up close, I wanted to make them like this. The one thing that you might notice is this one, I think I might have a little bit too much tiling in the detail texture. So let me adjust that a little bit. So let's see where that is. Detail. Bear with me for tiling. That's not it. There we go. That's a little bit better. And it still could be lower. There we go. So something like that. Yeah. So that's like I said. These rocks, I really like. And this is kind of just a first iteration at me trying to use them. Like out here, for example, I feel like they fit in a little bit better. So yeah, let's get back to this road here and see how we can surround it with some of these big boulders. Yeah, and like I said, the other reason that I like these is that they're also like closed meshes. So let's make these. Oh, actually, that's I think that's a little bit too big. So yeah, kind of side of the road type of thing. This could probably work really well on the side of um, the lake as well. Let's see what are the other sides like for this one. Yeah, so there we go. I think that actually I'm kind of liking that quite a bit. Maybe I need maybe decrease there's like a little bit too much contrast with these corners around here. So maybe I'll lower that a little bit. So let's see if we can place something on the top of those, so we can try and use one of these, see how they work in here. 'Cause they also have to meet on this edge, so I'm not sure if I'm just gonna maybe make these bigger. Let's see. There we go. I think that should work. And since that one is right in that corner there, there we go. All right, so let's add kind of some trees and some other things along the side of the road. But yeah, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use these in to replace the other meshes along here as well. Um, like you've seen over here, I think they actually work really well for this type of cliff instead of those that are, I think, okay for like the really distant, over here type of scenarios. But up close, where you do see kind of the definition and you want these a little bit broken up, at least in my view, I think they could work. So let's paint some mulch and then we'll resimulate this and see how it turns out. Kind of just a mulch along the road here and around here. Also, the other thing with these ones is I'm gonna try and see if I can put in. You notice that I use that. You know that I use that um, IA scatter tool, and try and scatter some of them on the actual rocks and see how that might look, how that might kind of fit in. So let's sculpt this area over here. This is an area of the road that I kind of neglected. It wasn't um, didn't didn't like come back to make it work out okay. So better late than never. Let's just sculpt this out. And sorry for the performance. You might have noticed I have a lot of tabs open and quite a number of other windows open. So let's try and sculpt these up a little bit like this. There it is. Let's go about and fix it on this side as well. And once we sculpt the terrain again, it should, or sculpt with the splines. Let's see, hopefully it's gonna adjust that a little bit as well. There we go, that's a little bit better. So let's paint some mulch out here, like so. And I'm not sure if this is going to be enough for it to simulate anything, but I hope at least on this side, it might be able to. And along the road. Okay, there we go. So now let's simulate some of this stuff. All right, so we only want it in the small area. All right, let's see how the simulation works. Yeah, I think these rocks over here, especially that it's a little bit more of a, it's not such a vertical rock as these are. Maybe I'll try and reduce um, the moss a little bit. Cue the elevator music. All right, there we go. Okay, so we have a few of them that were simulated. I'm not sure why I didn't I think this is too high of a slope to simulate it on there. But we got these kind of around here next to these big boulders. And like I said, what I wanted to try is to grab one of these splines or this eye scatter tool that I have here and try and simulate some of them on top of like right at the edge of the road. So let's see how that's gonna look. All right, I'm not actually I think this one does not spawn like, so I could lower them down just to sink them into the surface a little bit. And I've noticed this is kind of a, if other people have seen this, this is kind of an interesting, I'm not sure if it's a bug or what it is, but somehow this shader doesn't really um, like to recompile or whatever it needs to do in the editor unless you go in and you reopen the mesh, which is, I don't get it, but you know, so there it is. It kind of, I'm not sure if it has to recompile the shader what it does, but after you do that, you know, like kind of it works fine. So, you know, go figure. But yeah, so let's see. We have this here. And oh my God, let me see what I don't want to that's the unfortunate thing sometimes, you have all these things that you've opened up already. See, just by minimizing some of these tabs, it already works better. But yeah, I have all these here that I don't want to close 'cause it takes me a while to get back in. So yeah, there we go. And we have these that are right on that edge of of these boulders. And actually, I think we can push them out a little bit more, like this. Yeah, there we go. And we can just lower them so they're kind of on that surface. There we go. So it looks like, kind of one of those, I'm not sure what, scraggly type of trees that grow on the side of rocks and stuff. So I feel like that is more possible, given all the like the moss growing on the rocks that the other mesh didn't have, right? So, um, but yeah, there we go. Now it looks a little bit more like I kind of, like I said, I like these rocks a little bit better than the ones that I've had before, just because of this added variety and um, in this material. All right, so let's try and also get these to show up, and probably just the same as the other ones. I don't want these to have any tracing, so just to follow, let's see, no detection, or was it no tracing? No tracing. There we go. So now we can just try and adjust the spline points so they'd be like right there on the surface. So I don't have to worry about collisions with others or like excluding some actors from collisions. It should make things a little bit simpler at least when it comes to placing. So there we go. Yeah, so we got some of these rocks on the side of the road like that. There. Just to kind of remove a little bit of the flatness from it. And the other one is what's going to help is let's also simulate the rocks, because that should also populate some of those boulders, I think is what it's called, or at least what I called it. So let me paint a little bit more mulch out here on the edge of the road. And we'll also simulate that, and that might actually do a bit of a better job, maybe. So let's do the rocks. Was it rock? I thought that's what I called it. PF underscore. Um, oh, like large rocks. So let's resimulate this one. And what I'm hoping for is, like I said, some of these areas to have some of these rocks added to them. Like especially I hope like in this space here, which is kind of blank, some space around here, maybe over here. Oh, there we go. So like I said, um, just adding some of these out here, that helps as well. And let's do the logs. This also has, some of those stumps and some of the kind of fallen trees. There we go. So that kind of fills it in. There's like some of these like this that breaks things up, like this one on the ground, this one over here. Um, so yeah, there you go. I think that actually helps quite a bit with breaking up the that edge, the flatness of the terrain. So and then you have like these cliffs or these massive boulders with the moss on top of them, and to break it up. So for example, like around here, and also the shape itself, it's not just a flat um, a flat box. So yeah, there we go. That's some of the stuff that I wanted to try out. Also a little bit, I was mentioning like kind of around here. I was playing the other day um, with like around this area just to place like one of those kind of like a maintenance road going around here. Oh yeah, and I've kind of played around with these intake tubes from the water, kind of the from the lake over there coming over into this, and then from here going into this two receivers. I'm not sure I'm coming up with names for technical things that I don't know about, and then coming into this opening here, which I could probably like put some like a water plane on there. Let's see how that would look. Uh, just kind of like a flooded type of area. Um, so let's see how that would fit in here. Yeah, not too shabby. I mean, I probably need to lower kind of the intensity of this edge dirt. It's a little much, I think. But yeah, there we go. So you got like a little bit of a flooded area here. I think that would work inside of the factory here. And yeah, painted a little bit of the terrain with some of the grasses just to fill it up a little bit. And this leads over here where um, kind of another area of the. Oh yeah, I should have used this. Maybe this could have worked a little bit better. Let's see this water material. Though this one I don't think has anything for the edges, but it actually does have a little bit, so that could work. And I can also lower it a little bit more. Yeah, it's got some faded. I've actually set up the mask a little bit different than the other one, though it's a little bit less of an opacity. So yeah, okay, but a little bit better on the overall kind of dirt around the edges part. Yeah, so that's the other thing that I was playing around with, just adding a little bit more vegetation around these fences over here, just separating these 2 yards, where you got the kind of the train area, with the train tracks, and this one on this side. So yeah, okay. So guys, that was all that I had planned for today. Just trying these. Some of these adding some of these rocks and seeing how those work. Like I said, I might want to turn down the intensity of the mask. There's like a mask kind of placing a little bit of a darker area here. So I might lower that down a little bit. Just it seems a little too intense, and kind of like where the edges of this uh, of this repeating or tiling rock surface would be. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today, guys. And like I said, for next week, I'm gonna hope that I'll be able to do like the flight sequence, jumping out of the plane, rescuing the first guy, um, talking to him about that first mission like we just did in that test level, rescuing his wife, coming back, getting the keys, getting into the sewer and into the town. So yeah, that's the plan for next week. Fingers crossed. And we'll see you there. Everybody, anybody that celebrates Memorial Day tomorrow, happy Memorial Day. And everybody, have a great week coming up. And I'll see you next week. All right, take care, everybody. Thanks so much for stopping by.